8,336 meters below the surface. Pressure crushes down at 800 times what your body feels right now, and temperature hovers just above freezing, in a place where light hasn't existed for 4 billion years. Something is swimming down there, and it shouldn't exist at all. The weight of the ocean at this depth would collapse a nuclear submarine, and the darkness runs so absolute that vision itself seems pointless. Nothing should survive here. But in August 2022, Professor Alan Jameson lowered a camera into the Izu Ogasawara Trench and captured footage of a snailfish, a pale gelatinous creature with translucent skin, gliding through water that would instantly kill any human being. The deepest fish ever recorded on film. Here's the thing about our planet. 12 people have walked on the moon, but only 27 have ever reached the bottom of the Mariana Trench. And we've mapped the surface of Mars at higher resolution than our own ocean floor. Less than 1,000% of the deep sea has ever been seen by human eyes. And every single time we send something down there to look, we find creatures that break biology as we understand it. Fish with transparent heads and rotating eyes live alongside squid that glow in colors no other animal can perceive. And there are males that fuse permanently into females until they dissolve into nothing but a sack of sperm. Sharks down there have been alive for 4 centuries. Science fiction invents aliens with bizarre anatomies. The deep sea already has them, and they've been here for hundreds of millions of years. The deeper you descend, the wronger life becomes. And that's not because the deep sea fights against survival. It's because evolution has been solving problems down there that we never knew existed. And somewhere down there, something might be looking up at the fading light and wondering why life gets so strange the closer you get to the surface. Surface oceans make sense to us because sunlight fuels plankton. Plankton feeds fish, and fish feed everything else in the same energy chain that powers life on land. Drop below 200 meters, and all of that changes completely. Scientists call this region the mesopelagic zone, though most people know it as the twilight zone, and it stretches down to 1,000 meters while occupying roughly 60% of Earth's surface, more territory than all the continents combined. Almost nothing down here lives the way you'd expect. Sunlight drops to just 1% at 200 meters, and by 1,000 meters, it vanishes entirely, leaving no photosynthesis, no plants, no green energy whatsoever. Food comes only from what drifts down from above, and that means dead plankton, fecal matter, and the slowly decaying remains of everything that dies in the sunlit world. Scientists call this material marine snow, and to us, it looks like dust. But to the creatures living in the twilight zone, it represents everything keeping them alive. Surviving in a world with almost no food and almost no light requires becoming invisible. The glass octopus, known scientifically as Vitrilodonella richardi, runs almost entirely transparent throughout its body, stretching to 45 centimeters. And since scientists first described it in 1918, they've noted that the visible parts are limited to its optic nerve, its eyes, and its digestive tract. Everything else is see-through. Even its rectangular eyes evolved their shape specifically to minimize silhouette from below. 60 species of glass squid took the same approach. And their bodies run so clear, you can see their organs floating inside them like specimens suspended in a jar. But none of that explains the strangest part. Some creatures chose the opposite strategy. And instead of hiding from light, they manufacture their own. A 17-year study by Mbari, the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute, analyzed over 350,000 observations and found that 76% of deep-sea animals produce bioluminescence. 3/4 of everything down there glows. The chemistry behind this actually has an answer. A molecule called luciferin combines with oxygen when an enzyme called luciferase is present, and the reaction produces light at almost 100% efficiency, with no heat and no wasted energy. Cold light in the coldest place on Earth. The uses for this light are what really bend your understanding. Hatchetfish line their bellies with photophores, light-producing organs that adjust brightness to perfectly match the faint glow filtering down from above. They're erasing their own shadows through counter-illumination camouflage, making light specifically to disappear into light. And then there's the migration that nobody knew about until war forced us to listen. Every night, as darkness falls on the surface, billions of creatures rise from the depths in a phenomenon that went undiscovered until World War II, when naval sonar operators tracking submarines detected a mysterious layer on their instruments, a false seabed that rose every night and sank every morning. That layer wasn't the ocean floor at all. Lanternfish, squid, jellies, and crustaceans numbering in the billions rise from the twilight zone to feed on plankton under cover of darkness, then sink back down at dawn, and this movement involves an estimated 10 billion tons of animals. The largest synchronized migration on Earth happens every single day, and we didn't know it existed until we invented sonar to hunt each other. The twilight zone bends the rules of life, but it's only the threshold. Past 1,000 meters, the last photon of sunlight disappears, and you enter the bathypelagic, the midnight zone, which stretches down to 4,000 meters and accounts for 88% of the ocean's total volume. The largest living space on Earth sits in complete darkness. Pressure reaches 400 atmospheres down here, while temperature holds steady at 4 degrees Celsius, and all light comes from the creatures themselves. Evolution stops following rules at this depth and starts writing new ones. Most deep-sea eyes evolved to detect blue-green light between 440 and 480 nanometers, because that's what bioluminescence typically produces, but 3 genera of dragonfish produce something different. Malacosteus, Aristostomias, and Pachystomias generate far red light up to 708 nanometers, sitting nearly in the infrared spectrum. What makes this matter is that most deep-sea creatures can't perceive red at all. It's invisible to them. The dragonfish essentially invented night vision goggles, a private wavelength that illuminates prey without giving itself away. The stoplight loosejaw, Malacosteus niger, uses a chlorophyll-derived compound absorbed from eating copepods to shift its visual sensitivity into the red spectrum. It evolved the ability to see a color that doesn't exist for anything else at this depth. Not every predator down here relies on light. Karen Osborne from the Smithsonian and Sunka Johnson from Duke University published research in July 2020 identifying 16 species of fish with ultra-black skin that reflects less than 0.5% of all light that touches it. Some specimens absorb 99.95% of incoming light, making them 20 times darker than ordinary black objects. The secret sits in the melanosomes, pigment-containing structures in the skin that evolved capsule-shaped instead of pearl-shaped, and instead of scattering, they pack in continuous layers. light gets trapped and bounced sideways into adjacent cells, where it gets absorbed again, creating a biological light trap so efficient that submarine spotlights can barely detect them. This adaptation evolved independently in at least 7 different fish families, and the deep kept arriving at the same impossible solution through convergent evolution. But what happens next makes the ultra-black skin look ordinary. The anglerfish carries that famous bioluminescent lure, a modified dorsal spine dangling in front of its mouth that glows with symbiotic bacteria, but its mating system stands as the strangest arrangement in the ocean. Female anglerfish reach 85 centimeters, while males of some species measure just 6 millimeters. And that's not an error. Females grow 60 times longer and 500,000 times heavier than males. When a male finds a female in that vast darkness, which itself seems nearly impossible, he bites into her skin and never releases, and enzymes dissolve his mouth tissue and her body tissue at the connection point. Blood vessels fuse together, his eyes atrophy, his fins disappear, and his internal organs wither until he becomes nothing but a permanent sperm-producing appendage attached to her body. Researchers have found up to 8 males fused to a single female. This isn't a mating strategy. This is survival stripped down to its most desperate logic. A 2024 study revealed how this fusion works at all. Deep-sea anglerfish lost their functional adaptive immune genes, so their bodies can't reject foreign tissue. They evolved a fundamentally different immune system between 50 and 35 million years ago, specifically to enable permanent fusion. The midnight zone rewrites biology from the ground up. 4 kilometers down, open water ends and the bottom begins. The abyssal plain covers 83% of total ocean area and approximately 60% of Earth's surface, making it the largest habitat on the planet, and it stretches as a vast desert of mud for thousands of kilometers in every direction. Down here, evolution doesn't rush. It waits centuries. Temperature never climbs above 4 degrees Celsius, while pressure reaches 600 atmospheres, and food runs so scarce that survival demands strategies found nowhere else on Earth. Size becomes one of those strategies. Giant isopods, Bathynomus giganteus, were first described in 1879 by French zoologist Alphonse Milne Edwards, and they can hit 50 centimeters and 1.7 kilograms. Their shallow water relatives, pill bugs, measure about 1 centimeter, making the giants 30 to 50 times larger. The colossal squid, Mesonychoteuthis hamiltoni, holds the record for largest invertebrate by mass at 495 kilograms, and its eyes measure 27 to 30 centimeters in diameter, the largest eyes in the animal kingdom. 100 years passed between when scientists first identified the colossal squid and when anyone actually saw one alive. The Schmidt Ocean Institute captured that first footage in March 2025, filming a 30-centimeter juvenile at 600 meters depth near the South Sandwich Islands. Scientists call this pattern deep-sea gigantism. And unlike some deep-sea mysteries, this one has real explanations, even if none of them tell the whole story. One explanation involves Kleiber's law, which states that metabolic rate scales to the 3/4 power of body mass. And what that means is a creature 100 times larger doesn't need 100 times more food. It needs only about 32 times more. When food runs desperately scarce, being bigger becomes more energy efficient per gram of tissue. Cold temperatures slow metabolism and increase cell size, while cold water holds more dissolved oxygen that can support larger bodies, and reduced predation at extreme depths means less selection pressure against growing big. But the strangest adaptation belongs to the Greenland shark. Somniosis microcephalus dwells at abyssal depths, and a 2016 study in Science used radiocarbon dating of eye lens proteins to determine how long these animals live: 392 years. The oldest Greenland shark was born in the 1620s, when Galileo was still peering through his telescope. It didn't reach sexual maturity until the 1780s, after the American Revolution had already begun. Time moves differently in the abyss because creatures grow slowly, reproduce rarely, and persist for centuries. Life down here doesn't just wait for things to happen, though. It builds entire ecosystems from death. A whale that dies and sinks to the abyssal plain delivers 2,000 to 3,000 kilograms of lipid, representing 100 to 200 times the typical annual carbon input to 1 hectare of seafloor. And a single carcass sustains an ecosystem for 50 to 100 years. Mobile scavengers arrive first as hagfish, sleeper sharks, and amphipods strip soft tissue at 40 to 60 kilograms per day. Bone-eating worms come next, genus Osedax, discovered by Mbari scientists in 2002. And these worms have no mouth, no gut, and no anus. Root-like structures penetrate bone and house symbiotic bacteria that digest the lipids locked inside. Female Osedax grow over 20,000 times larger than males, and harems of 50 to 600 microscopic males live inside each female's tube. Over 100 species have been documented on a single whale skeleton, creating cities of the dead that last decades. Earth's final frontier lies beyond the abyss in the trenches. Tectonic plates slide beneath each other at these locations and pull the ocean floor down into depths that shouldn't exist. And the Hadal zone begins at 6,000 meters, while stretching to the deepest known point on Earth. Challenger. Deep sits at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, 10,935 meters below the surface. Mount Everest dropped into that trench would still have its peak more than a mile underwater. Pressure at the bottom exceeds 1,100 atmospheres, translating to 16,000 pounds per square inch, or 8 tons pressing on every square inch of your body. Life thrives down there anyway. The snailfish that Professor Jameson filmed at 8,336 meters looks too fragile to exist because its body runs gelatinous, its skin translucent, and its bones barely calcified. A submarine at this depth would be crushed. The snailfish survives using a molecule that smells like old seafood. Cells in that fish are saturated with TMAO, trimethylamine N-oxide, the compound that makes fish smell fishy. Extreme pressure forces water molecules into protein cores and causes them to denature, meaning they unfold and stop functioning. But TMAO bonds to water molecules and stabilizes their structure to prevent proteins from being destroyed. Researcher Paul Yancey discovered that TMAO concentration increases linearly with depth. Surface fish carry about 40 to 50 millimoles per kilogram, while Hadal snailfish at 7,000 meters carry 386 millimoles per kilogram, the highest concentration ever recorded. A limit exists, though. TMAO reaches saturation between 8,200 and 8,400 meters, where the molecule can no longer compensate for pressure. And this biochemical ceiling may explain why no fish have ever been found below 8,400 meters in any trench on Earth. Vertebrate life has a built-in depth limit. What haunts researchers isn't the pressure, though. Dr. Alan Jameson published a study in 2019 examining amphipods from 6 Pacific Hadal trenches, and every single specimen from the Mariana Trench contained microplastics including nylon, polyethylene, PVC, and PT. Scientists discovered a new species of amphipod at 6,949 meters depth in 2020 and found a PET fiber inside its gut, so they named it Eurythanes plasticus, the first species found already contaminated with plastic before anyone even described it. Human waste has reached the deepest places on Earth, and the Hadal zone sits far less isolated than anyone believed. Hydrothermal vents along trench walls support microbes that feed on chemicals spewing from Earth's crust instead of sunlight or marine snow. Hydrogen sulfide, methane, and metals dissolved in superheated water fuel chemosynthesis, converting chemical energy into organic matter, and entire ecosystems run on this process without ever seeing a photon of light. Giant tube worms, Riftia pachyptila, extend 2 to 3 meters without any mouth or digestive system because symbiotic bacteria in a specialized organ called the trophosome handle everything. Growth rate reaches 85 centimeters per year, the fastest known marine invertebrate growth. The Schmidt Ocean Institute discovered something nobody predicted in October 2024. A hidden ecosystem living beneath hydrothermal vents where worms and snails thrive in volcanic cavities at 18 degrees Celsius, while temperatures above them reached hundreds of degrees. Life doesn't just survive the deep. It exploits conditions we didn't know existed. Questions outnumber answers when it comes to what lives down there. Nobody fully understands why so many creatures grow to enormous sizes, and no one knows why bioluminescence evolved independently over 40 times across different lineages. Species that see colors no other animal can detect remain unexplained. The vampire squid, Vampiroteuthis infernalis, translates to vampire squid from hell, but isn't a squid at all. It stands as the sole surviving member of its own order, a living fossil, combining features of both squid and octopus, and it lives in oxygen minimum zones, where levels drop to 0.4 milliliters per liter. Instead of hunting, it collects marine snow with sticky filaments. That animal has the lowest mass-specific metabolic rate of any cephalopod and hemocyanin with the highest oxygen affinity. It evolved to thrive where nothing else can breathe. The Dumbo octopus, genus Grimpoteuthis, was spotted at 6,957 meters in the Java Trench in 2020, making it the deepest cephalopod ever recorded. It carries no ink sac because smoke screens serve no purpose in total darkness and no ability to change color because nobody down there can see it. 17 species exist, and we've barely studied any of them. Every expedition returns with creatures unknown to science. The Ocean Census Program announced 866 new marine species in 2024 alone, and Schmidt Ocean Institute expeditions off Chile discovered over 100 suspected new species, along with a seamount 3,109 meters tall that nobody knew existed. The barrelly fish, Macropinna microstoma, was first described in 1939, and for 70 years, scientists couldn't figure out how its eyes worked because specimens kept arriving with their heads collapsed. MBARI researchers Bruce Robison and Kim Reisenbichler discovered the truth in 2000. Has a transparent, fluid-filled dome over its skull, and its tubular eyes rotate inside its head to look up through the dome and spot silhouettes of prey before rotating forward to eat. We thought we understood that fish, and we didn't even know it had a transparent head. Edith Witter, one of the leading bioluminescence researchers in the world, put it clearly. The usual routine is to explore and then exploit an environment, but we've managed to do it backwards in the ocean. We're exploiting the ocean before we even know what's in it. High-resolution mapping covers 27% of the ocean floor, while visual exploration covers less than 1,000th of 1%. More people have walked on the moon than have seen the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Every camera we send into the darkness finds something that shouldn't exist. Fish with ultra-black skin absorbing 99.95% of light. Sharks born before Galileo died. Males dissolving into their mates. Creatures consuming whale bones for decades. Life running on chemistry instead of sunlight. The deep sea doesn't fight against life. It functions as a laboratory where evolution has been running experiments for hundreds of millions of years, under conditions we're only beginning to understand. Sylvia Earle, the woman they call her deepness, said it best. Every drop of water you drink and every breath you take connects you to the sea, no matter where on Earth you live. Secrets we haven't imagined yet are waiting down there. Secrets worth protecting. Secrets worth discovering. And the deepest creatures we've found may not be the deepest ones that exist.